it's all these different names here get mixed up. I mean, I've traveled so far, different realms, parts of society, so many cultural differences in such a small space of land. Interesting observations. But what I was going to say, Bruticus, was that I'd like to advise you to write down, maybe learn from Omeron or what Redlin already knows about the scriptures, writing your experience with your journey, which I'm requiring for a document for you to hold in all time through infinity. Yes, that's a good idea. I'll get to work with that. But I do want the standards point discussed. We'll discuss it. I think we should hold a meeting. Redlin, what do you think? Well, I've got some work to do on my food churning wheel. How about we'll have a meeting in 2 days? Is that okay? We must gather our knowledge and hide.
Here we go. He will be able to find us in any city, at any town. His army is constantly searching and conquering. It is only a matter of time before we are on the last piece of land for him to claim. Then he claims our lives.
So what do you suggest we do? Sit and wait for our deaths? Could we not kill him?
How could you say much less think such a thing? Our existence is not for superiority, but enlightenment. The Journeyman shall show himself. If we do that...
Create the distance anyway, and the fuse of light is burning too quickly, and I will be eternally in space, out, Good, it wouldn't exist without bad. Do you have to view everything based on limits and contradictions or extremes? No. Does time, there's always in between, does time have to have a beginning to an end to it, or do we only see it that way because our life cycles have, well, conditioned humans to think in such temporary terms? I could see his point. Is it our decision alone about how we harvest the plants and share the natural resources, or is it God's plan to be the kind and not greedy? Who are we to decide? I'm just putting my 2 cents in. Nick Melvin over here.
Days and days.
Don't mind. We are the Star Cops, so that is what gives me the authority to decide that we should move along to the spaceport hangar station in the distance. Come on now. Let's not get too sidetracked. We're almost there.
It should lead me to the Derby Zone.
Where?
The clouds of smoke will just follow me like guardian angels, asking my presence from
For anybody at all when we base the judgment call on ourselves. Is it really our fault when that's how we learn to make our decisions based on ourselves? Can we even say or learn not to judge when it's impossible to make a decision without judgment? A judgment call, yes. Crimson, maybe we should just keep walking and cut out the questions like Commander Starfire says. I'm just being my philosophical self. Can't help it, I know, but it's getting on our nerves. Well, what the hell is wrong with everybody? Why is violence always such an acceptable solution to everything in this society?
Where did everybody go?
Is it just because it's easier for you to not have to stop and think about how you're making the people live in fear?
I'll walk through the dead sand.
Oh.
I'll walk through the dead sand.
Hey, they did it to us first. The aliens made us afraid of their telepathic mind rays and superior technology. We're just standing up for ourselves, and if I didn't need you to tell me the location of that long-lost, defective, traitorous colony, utopia, we're just standing up for ourselves, then I will leave you here behind. Believe me, I'm getting tired of your endless philosophy. Crimson. Well, I'm sure I'm not the only one here who's sick and tired of your short-sighted, strict ways, Commander. Well, you try to incite mutiny in my men. This treason you speak of. We better not give him any more psychological seed cure or he might become irrational. Commander. Oh, Jace, you think? What a brilliant idea. Why is everyone around here so bitter all the time? I feel sorry for you all since you...
All I want to do is get by.
Yeah.
Just cross this territory once and for all.
You don't get to experience this wonderful amazement like glazed eye and tranquil days. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one sane one here just because I wanted to figure everything out and answer those endless questions. I just want everyone to get along, but you cannot persecute me for what I say or how I think. I have the right to think with how to expand my mind with any ways that don't cause violence. Ignorant, greedy people with guns and desperately impoverished conditions are what really causes the violence, not drugs. Inhumane working conditions, economic slavery, and poverty, along with desperation, only add to the tension of needless suffering. I don't
Red Desert.
want to offend anyone. I only want the right to speak the truth. The psychological seed cure alleviates boredom. It cures artist's block and frees me from manic depression. It's like a brainstorm of ideas when you're in a dream, but you can only you know what you are in the dream while you're having it. It's because you can learn how to control it. Everything is so strange. At first, it seems it's become safer and familiar. The stranger, you get used to the strange language. The strangeness becomes normality. It becomes safer and easier to control as you go along and explore it. When you realize that you are in control of your own destiny and your own reality, the way you react emotionally, the circumstances, and the surrealistic imagery makes you more comfortable. What's really scary are our limited choices in reality and how money seems to control everything through greed to the point where people become cynical and skeptical because everything seems just like another scam for big businesses to make more space cash.
Existence, like the ants, but it's so much. They don't give us much room for that anymore. I mean,
Yes,
look,
well,
everything's
here we
basically
are.
for us.
Then we could use people's full potential without exploiting them for less.
We are if we don't discover.
People could be paid for their skills to survive instead of through a green piece of paper that symbolizes someone else's corporate greed.
Expectations of the mechanics of society, where man forgets who he really is. He forgets his roots, where he really came from, and all the distractions he's created, all the mechanical functions he has made for himself.
Yes.
People sense that we need to get away from that, but nobody really does. People are moving farther and farther out of the country, but still, the advancements continue. So when are we going to stop, you know?
Corporations will create the disease if they can monopolize the cure. They help governments legalize things that are worse than some legal treatments, substances, and medications. If they can monopolize the cure for their unhealthy products, even medical administrations stand to gain a profit by keeping people hooked on their brands of medications, regardless of whether or not they know which one cure will work. Rather than use the funds to seek cheaper alternative treatments. If they can cut costs and make money instead of spending more to improve research and have the chance to learn more about what actually can cure certain afflictions, then they will do what they have to for the sake of business. When everything seems like an advertisement and corporate mind control of the media here on your planet of Zeon, it almost seemed more peaceful before the anarchy broke out in the prison colony. I only want the freedom to be myself and make a living with my art, but I want to be reduced to the stereotypical, hypocritical advertisement for it. Around here so bitter all the time. I feel here on your planet Zeon. It almost seemed more peaceful before the anarchy broke out in the prison colony. Don't you understand?
They don't do any good for me other than torment me with my own cycles of thought.
That's it, Crimson. I'm sick of your attitude and your endless philosophical rants. Insubordination will not be tolerated by the Star Cops. Ooh. Those are big words for a man like you. But I'm not even trying to argue. I'm just saying that by making the psychological seed cure illegal, it forces amateur chemists to go underground and risk distributing less pure substances that might become dangerous in the wrong hands, whereas it would have been safer to leave it up to the scientists in the first place so they could perfect the invention and manufacture it to more safest, healthy, regulated dosages. Drugs are not the cause of society's problems, they're only a symptom. They represent a temporary escape from the problems that become worse and worse when ignored, that are caused by the rising cost of living and the breakdown of the traditional family. They would be safer if they were legally obtained through the licensed Sergeant General Doctor and distributed by the scientists themselves, who would be better suited to regulate such treatments than the doctors in their perfected medical facilities, if they weren't under the mercy and the control of the vested interests of the corporations for greedy profit reasons. This is the land of hypocrisy, though. I thought freedom of speech meant that we have the right to make our own decisions without being limited by the government about our alternatives that depend only on the limited interest of the corporations. If the corporations have more power than the government, that's what the real scary thing is. Who's in control? They can't lie to us forever by limiting our choices to their products only. We have the right to speak our minds and look inside our own souls to find the truth instead of being told that we need what is being sold. We can decide that we don't need all of the stuff they are providing by telling us what to buy based on their shallow greed alone. I'm trying to get people to realize their true full potential. I invite you to create your own philosophy instead of letting corporate media influence your opinion on how they think you should live or what you should spend your money on. But how can we let them make decisions about what is good for us when they don't even know us personally or have our best interests in mind because they don't know our individual needs anyways? We decide what is right for us on an individual basis based on our limited choices. Our choices are limited by what alternatives the powers that be may or may not provide, of course. You're getting into dangerous thought territory now, Crimson. Liberal. What? You're entertaining dangerous thoughts and a treacherous advocacy, Crimson. Step down from your treacherous... I'm just saying.
What you're saying?
I'm just saying that when there are legal substances like tobacco and alcohol, which could be more deadly or dangerous in the long run than some illegal ones in the short term, the real problem is with the people who distribute them, not with the illegal drugs themselves. Some psychic drugs are actually cause people to become peaceful or withdraw most of the time. Greed is what causes the violence. Psychic drugs don't even cause any physical withdrawal symptoms at all, and they're not physically addictive, which makes them the least addictive substances of them all. It's ironic they've been demonized. All right, gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a girlfriend? But I had a few that cheated on me here and there, that left me with other guys, and that made more money. What does it have to do with anything? I've had several that wanted to stay with me because of my kind, chivalrous nature, but my last girlfriend nearly killed herself because of society having to put so much pressure on her to be what they wanted her to be instead of just letting her be herself. That's a long story, but we lost contact after I went to the gnome planet. Why do you ask? Well, I just figured I'd change the subject, but never mind. What really brings me down is how obvious people are when they walk around like mass-produced mindless drones and clowns. Wearing shirts that advertise other people's ideas instead of their own, or more original dreamers looking for ways to empower themselves. The truly unique visionaries with real talent are the most original nonconformist thinkers, and unfortunate victims of a society lost in the sea of ads. Almost everyone is forced to compete, and if you're not competitive, then you drop out of society or become exploited like the weak. It's a pyramid scheme based on competition. Well, survival of the fittest is the basic law, not necessarily the law of land. There are other ways to survive, several other alternatives. The truly unique visionaries with their talent are almost unfortunate victims of society, and almost everyone is conditioned to want what the corporations promote instead of being encouraged to look inward in order to find what really makes them happy. Yes, well, what a revelation, Crimson, what a revelation, yes.
To return, it's not like I want to return to a savage-like way of life. We're struggling for survival and existence, like the ants, but it's so much more free when your own awareness of things comes in your own creation, your own discovery. You can discover things on your own. It makes it much more personal, much more meaningful to you than someone spoon-feeding you all this information of things people had already divided and conquered. It makes it so boring. Whereas the on our own, you know? They don't give us much room for that anymore. I mean,
Yes,
look,
well,
everything's
here
basically
we are.
done for us.
Now what we have to do
Nothing becomes very
is charter a
Cherished.
spaceship
hooked
hooked up with electromagnetic energy waves.
People don't value life that much anymore.
Yeah.
Blame it on society. I blame it on society. When people get into drug use, they're trying to find what they really valued as a kid. You know, and there's not much there if you've lived in the city all your life.
We have to go out and rediscover nature.
You know, you
I just have to charter a shuttle and we'll be on our way. With my credentials, we should be able to get a fairly large star cruiser in order to accommodate everybody. Glitch, Nick, watch the prisoner while I go get our spaceship. Yes, Commander.
line of beauty like lasts forever.
If money didn't cause one group of people to become more powerful than another, there would be no need for competition or violence, Simpson thought to himself. If everyone was actually treated equally and people had the right to make a living with their best God-given natural talents and abilities, then there would be no selfish desire to control anyone or anything, and there would be no more injustice or inhumanity. Equal distribution of resources should eliminate the selfish need for power. And if we utilized everyone's true talents, then we could use people's full potential without exploiting them for less. If people could be paid for their skills to survive, instead of through a green piece of paper that symbolizes someone else's corporate greed.
Expectations of the mechanics of society, where man forgets who he really is. He forgets his roots, where he really came from, and all the distractions he's created, all the mechanical functions he has made for himself.
Yes. Should eliminate the selfish need for power. And if we utilized everyone's true talents, then we could use people's full potential without exploiting them for less. If people could be paid for their skills to survive, instead of through a green piece of paper that symbolizes someone else's corporate greed.
Expectations of the mechanics of society, where man forgets who he really is. He forgets his roots, where he really came from, and all the distractions he's created, all the mechanical functions he has made for himself.
Yes.
People sense that we need to get away from that, but nobody really does. People are moving further and further out of the country, but still, advancements continue. So when are we going to stop, you know?
According to the media here on your planet of Zeon, it almost seemed more peaceful before the anarchy broke out in the prison colony. I only want the freedom to be myself and make a living with my art, but I want to be reduced to the stereotypical, typical advertisement for it.
They will kill us!
We must gather our knowledge and hide.
Where will we go? He will be able to find us in any city, at any town. His army is constantly searching and conquering. It is only a matter of time before we are on the last piece of land for him to claim. Then he claims our lives.
So what do you suggest we do? Sit and wait for our deaths? Could we not kill him?
How could you say but let's think such a thing? Our existence is not for superiority, but enlightenment. The Journeyman to show himself. If we do that, we will be as primitive as he. We must let destiny take its course. There is a reason for everything.
It's our lives or his. We cannot let him conquer us. All that we have lived for and developed will be lost. We must at least defend ourselves to preserve the accomplishments of our race.
He's right, Aaron. If he gets a hold of our writings, I have no doubt that he will savagely and mindlessly destroy them out of rage. They do not deserve to be forgotten. He might not be able, or even the more worthy after him, to learn or understand what we have discovered. The main answers must be preserved.
So be it. We will find a place to hide the scriptures, but no violence will be taken against claws.
Very well, then.
Ah!
Wait, you people, you must have a meeting about standards, about the immediate detection we may need. I mean, he could be coming at any moment. So I'm gonna go see how far he's gotten, what possible damage he might have done. Go find out if I can help anyone. You people stay here and have a meeting on it. Decide whether or not standards must be set. Or I don't know, do something. I'll be back. Oh no. It's a branch of one of Redland's societies. They must have been destroyed by clouds. Wreckage is all over the place. Everything is burning. Bodies everywhere. Yeah. You. What happened here?
He came, he destroyed all the art, everything's gone.
Wait! Is anyone still alive? Jeez. Mass destruction. Terrible. Oh no, the environment has become threatening. Bruticus was right. Claus has decided to spread the only part of himself that he knows, his negativity. Given no purpose and not being active to possibly change, that must have driven him to destroy others, to limit them like he did to himself, to spread his own selfish cruelty. We didn't realize the importance of broadening this one's perception, so it became destructive, just like Bruticus said it would. Claus eluded us in all the other active events. Attention can't be given to everyone, though. God, the wreckage is everywhere. Bodies all over the place. I don't see any movement by anyone for that matter. Claus really meant destruction. There's a food churning machine of Redlands. This was a particularly small town here. Only gave them one. Everyone would have depended on that one food machine, but it was very productive. Now it's smashed to a bloody pulp. I can only guess how many other branches Redland could have left out there for Claus' destruction. This is terrible. Our society was just too free for Claus. Maybe if Claus had stayed and we would have given him a purpose gone farther in creating standards, he would make a good army leader. He would then become positive and flourishing in his purpose. He would grow instead of limiting himself. But now we are the ones who need protection from his limited anti-productiveness. How strange that we would now need protection from a once insignificant and completely overlooked factor in our own free society. Anti-productiveness. How strange that we would now need protection from a once insignificant and completely overlooked factor in our own free society. Well, it has developed negatively like any machine with a malfunction, and now I must go warn the others.